The House of Hauteville was a petty baronial Norman family from the Cotentin which rose to prominence in Europe, Asia, and Africa through its conquests in the Mediterranean, especially southern Italy and Sicily. They also participated in the Norman conquest of England. Origins. The familial origins had roots from the Norsemen who had settled in Normandy in the 10th. They are said to be descended from Hauteville, a Norseman who settled in the Cotentin Peninsula and founded the village of Hauteville, from which the family takes its name. From just which village of Hauteville, which may simply mean high town, the family drew its name is hard to identify with certainty, though modern scholarship favors Hauteville Largachard. The first of the family well known to us is Tancred of Hauteville, the founder of the eponymous villa. He remained until his death a minor baron of Normandy, but he had 12 sons and at least 2 daughters by 2 wives, Muriel and Fresinde. His small patrimony was hardly enough to satisfy his sons' desire for land and glory, and so 8 of the 12 went south to the Mezzogiorno to seek their fortunes there. According to Goffredo Malaterra's chronicle, the 4th son by Tancred's second wife, Fresinde, or Frisen, descendant from Fry, Avril or Aubrey, was one Aubrey or Alvaradis who remained behind in Normandy. About the time of the Domesday Book in 1086, Sir Alvaradis or Aluricus Hauteville is mentioned as having previously held lands in Compton Martin, Somerset, England. His kinsman Ralph de Yeovil is mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1086 as a tenant-in-chief in Burbage and Wolf Hall in Wiltshire. Alvaradis most probably founded the Somerset Hautevilles and Ralph most probably founded the Wiltshire, Berkshire Ovals. Mezzogiorno. The eldest of the 12 sons, William and Drogo, were the first to arrive in the south sometime around 1035. They so distinguished themselves against the Greeks that William was inaugurated as Count of Apulia and Calabria and Lord of Ascoli. Drogo was Lord of Enosa. In 1047, Drogo was confirmed by the Emperor Henry III as William's heir and a direct vassal of the imperial crown. Their next brother, Humphrey, succeeded Drogo and defeated Pope Leo IX at the Battle of Civitate, making the Hauteville power the highest in the region. He was in turn succeeded by a 4th brother, the first by Tancred's second wife, Robert Guiscard. Along with the valiant warriorship displayed by his youngest brother, Roger Bossa, the two began to amass notoriety around the Mediterranean. According to William of Apulia's The Deeds of Robert Guiscard, although his Norse roots would seem to suggest otherwise, until the invasion of Sicily, Guiscard had not participated in naval warfare. It was during this conquest that Guiscard and his amphibious command pioneered the ability to transport over 200 troops in a mere 13 vessels, an advantage that would have an influence in the Norman invasion of England. In 1059 he was created duke by the Pope and invested with as yet unconquered Sicily, which he gave, in 1071, to his brother Roger with the title of Count. The Guiscard's heirs, Bowman and Roger Bossa, fought over the inheritance, and Roger of Sicily began to outshine the Apulian branch of the family. Roger united the Greek, Lombard, Norman, and Saracen elements of Sicily under one rule and refused to allow religious differences to spoil his conquests. Roger bequeathed a powerful state to his young sons, Simon and Roger. It was this Roger who, upon inheriting all from Simon in 1105, began the quest to unite into one all the Hauteville domains, Apulia and Calabria and Taranto, with his own Sicily, Kingdom of Sicily. On William's death in 1127, the union of the duchy and the county was effected and Roger's quest for a crown began. Believing kings to have ruled Palermo in antiquity, Roger threw his support behind the anti-pope Aniceltus II and was duly enthroned as King of Sicily on Christmas Day 1130. Roger spent most of the decade beginning with his coronation and ending with his great assizes of Ariano, fending off one invader or other and quelling rebellions by his premier vassals. Grimwald of Bari, Robert of Capua, Ranulf of Life, Sergius of Naples, etc. In 1139, by the Treaty of Mignano, Roger received the recognition of his kingship from the legitimate pope. It was through his admiral George of Antioch that Roger then proceeded to conquer the Mahdia in Africa, taking the unofficial title, King of Africa. Roger's son and successor was William the Bad, though his nickname derives primarily from his lack of popularity with the chroniclers, who supported the baronial revolts William crushed. His reign ended in peace, but his son, William the Good, was a minor. During the Boy Regency until 1172, the kingdom saw turmoil which almost brought the ruling family down. But eventually the realm settled down, and the reign of the second William is remembered as 2 decades of almost continual peace and prosperity. For this more than anything, he is nicknamed the Good. His death without heirs in 1189 threw the realm into chaos. However, Tancred of Lecce seized the throne but had to contend with the revolt of his distant cousin Roger of Andria and the invasion of Henry VI of Germany. On behalf of his wife, Constance, the daughter of Roger II, Constance and Henry eventually prevailed and the kingdom fell in 1194 to the Hohenstaufen. Through Constance, however, the Hauteville blood was passed to the great Frederick II, Holy Roman Emperor. Crusades. The aforementioned Beaumont received in 1088, as a consolation, the Principality of Taranto district from the Duchy of Apulia, which fell as per their father's will to his brother Roger Borsa. Beaumont did not long remain to enjoy his new principality, for while besieging Amalfi with his uncle and brother, he joined a passing band of crusaders on their way to Palestine. Among his army was a nephew of his, a young man named Tancred. Beaumont was the natural leader of the crusading host, but, through a trick, he took Antioch and did not continue on to Jerusalem with the rest of the army, instead remaining in the newly conquered city to carve out a principality for himself there. Tancred also left the main crusade at Heracli-Sybistra to fight for territory in Cilicia, a great state like the one his cousins were forging in Europe. However, was impossible for Beaumont. He was defeated badly at the Battle of Harran and forced later to sign the Treaty of Devil with Byzantium. Nevertheless, his son Beaumont too inherited the Crusader state. He in turn gave it to his only daughter, Constance, who ruled it until 1163. Tancred had great luck in carving out a principality around Galilee with the grants of Godfrey of Bouillon, but he relinquished this in 1101. Genealogy. Tancred and his first wife Muriel had the following issue: William Ironarm, Count of Apulia; Drogo, Count of Apulia; Humphrey, Count of Apulia; Abelard Herman, Count of Cannae; Geoffrey, Count of the Capitanate; Robert I, Count of Loritello; Robert II, Count of Loritello; William, Count of Loritello; Sarlo I, heir to estates in Normandy. Sarlo II married the daughter of Roger de Moulins, Count of Boiano. Sarlo III, descending from which the Marquis Sarlo of Calabria. Tancred and his second wife Fresende had the following issue: Robert Guiscard, Count and Duke of Apulia; Beaumont I, Prince of Taranto and Antioch; Beaumont II, Prince of Taranto and Antioch; Constance, Princess of Antioch; Roger Borsa, Duke of Apulia; William II, Duke of Apulia; Guy, Duke of Amalfi and Sorrento; Robert Scalia; Emma of Apulia; Tancred, Prince of Galilee; William Marga, Count of the Capitanate; William, Count of the Principate; Richard of Salerno, Regent of the County of Edessa; Roger of Salerno, Regent of the Principality of Antioch. Aubry, stayed in Normandy. Hubert, stayed in Normandy. Tancred, stayed in Normandy. Roger Borsa, Count of Sicily; Jordan, Count of Syracuse; Geoffrey, Count of Ragusa; Marga, Count of Troana; Simon, Count of Sicily; Roger II, Count and King of Sicily; Roger, Duke of Apulia; Tancred, Count of Lecce and King of Sicily; Roger III, King of Sicily; William III, King of Sicily Tancred, Prince of Bari Alfonso, Prince of Capua William I the Bad, King of Sicily Roger, Duke of Apulia Robert William II the Good, King of Sicily Bohemond, Duke of Apulia Henry, Prince of Capua Henry Simon, Prince of Taranto Constance, Queen of Sicily Frederick I of Sicily, King of Sicily. Relatives of unknown relationship include Tancred, Count of Syracuse, Simon, Count of Syracuse, possibly a son of Roger II or nephew of Roger I.